Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. The conditions of life in the Stone Age were extremely harsh. Whether it was scarcity of food, water, natural resources, or the danger of predators, it became necessary for a person to cooperate with other people to survive. Through living and working in groups, a blanket of safety and a sense of belonging emerged, and when a person felt safe, trust and cooperation flourished among the group members. This concept of trust has strengthened the system of survival and a sense of security in humans since the beginning of their existence on this earth. You can see that concept in the way we live as well as the difficulties of life in our modern times. Examples are the ups and downs of the economy and jobs and the social, political, and technological changes. A person cannot prevent these issues from happening or control their life's problems. The only variable factor is the culture of living in groups and the culture of working in institutions. And here lies the importance of leadership, because the leader is the one who imposes the culture. When a leader chooses to place the safety and comfort of people inside the organization at the top of their priorities and to sacrifice their comfort so that people feel safe, then they can become a successful leader and achieve the desired results with their team. In 2008, Barry Wehmiller was greatly affected by the economic crisis. The company lost 30% of its sales. To cover these losses, the board of directors developed a plan to lay off a number of workers with the goal of saving approximately $10 million. Bob Chapman was the manager of one of the company's biggest factories, and during his years of service, Bob was loved and very close to the factory workers. It was difficult for Bob to accept the decision to lay off his employees. On that day, Bob said, "It would be better for all of us to suffer a little than some of us suffer greatly." So Bob suggested implementing an unpaid leave program in which each employee would take 4 weeks as an unpaid vacation. This proposal led to an increase in employee morale, and the company was able to save $20 million. More importantly, when the employees felt safe and protected by their manager, the natural reaction was the emergence of a spirit of trust and cooperation in the team. The employees began to share the burden among them, and some of them even took 5 weeks off for others who can only afford to take 3 weeks. But to remember, feeling safe is the main driver of progress. Providing this feeling is one of the basic tasks of the leader. There are many who hold the highest positions in their institutions but are not leaders at all. They just have executive powers. Employees apply what they say because they have the authority, but no one has to follow them. And there are many who are at the base of the pyramid of their institutions and have no authority but are real leaders, because they choose to take care of their colleagues and the people who work next to them. This in itself is what the word leader means. As the leader moves away from the environment of the team he leads, he becomes less careful in making decisions that directly affect team members. The lack of sympathy and the rapport between the leader and his team leads to abstraction, when the leader does not feel the reality of the impact of his decisions on the lives of the members of the group. At that time, the leader gives priority to his personal interest over that of the group, which leads him to make decisions in the interest of the individual and at the expense of others. This concept is what prompted Barry Wehmiller's board of directors to propose the layoff plan, and it is what prompted Bob Chapman to reject this proposal and consider the interests of his employees. Another example of abstraction is what happened in the Titanic, when the owner company decided to use lifeboats less than the required number for all passengers, as the company attached more importance to its financial interests at the expense of the lives of its travelers. But to remember, empathy and closeness with people breeds a sense of responsibility towards others. In 2013, the management of Ralph Lauren clothing company discovered a bribery scandal at its branch in Argentina. The company's response was a pledge to investigate and cooperate with the government agencies in order to fight this corruption issue. And although this incurred many government fines and penalties, the company gained the confidence of many clients and investors. Integrity is one of the most important qualities that a leader must possess in order to gain the confidence of their team. The leader's integrity means being honest and taking responsibility for his or her actions and mistakes. In the 90s of the last century, most of the members of the American Congress moved to live in Washington, D.C. as soon as they were elected. Nowadays, Congresspeople meet for a few days a month in the Capitol, which has lowered people's confidence in congressional decisions according to the latest polls. Sinek indicates that a successful leader must remain in direct contact and connection with his team after he has gained the team's trust. It is very important for the leader to maintain real and close relationship and ties with his team members in order to maintain his integrity and ensure that the interests of the group are taken care of. But to remember, integrity and the ability to connect with others is one of the most important characteristics of a successful leader. When Bill Gates founded Microsoft, his vision was not to establish the largest computer company or to make the most profit, but rather, his vision was a higher goal, which is to place a computer in each office. This lofty vision helped him to achieve the other goals of the company, such as profits, brand, and market share. A successful leader must be inspired by a vision for the future and inspire all members of the group to work towards achieving this vision. A successful leader must realize that putting in place a clear vision is the highest service he can give to the group. Simon Sinek tells the story of his choice for the title of the book. When he met a former US Navy general and asked him about the secret of the leadership in the military, the general replied simply, "Because our officers are always the last to eat." During meals, soldiers are given food first, and the commanding officer sits to ensure that all soldiers have eaten their meal. The general went on to tell the story in one of the battles. The commander was waiting to finally eat after his battalion soldiers, but this time when they finished, there was no food left for him. The soldiers returned to the battlefield, and the first thing they did was to bring the commander some of their food so that he might eat it. These people are called the leaders because they are the ones who are at the forefront and take risks and sacrifice before everyone so that their employees enjoy safety and protection. And when the leader does this, the natural result is that his team sacrifices for it in order to achieve the vision of their leader. But to remember, the true meaning of a successful leader is to place the interests of others in front of his interests in order to achieve a lofty vision. Thanks for watching. Please follow our social media accounts. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, comment below and share your thoughts on our book summary for this week.